Hi Flosstubies, this is Lori McCleary, Texstylust. Welcome to December, the first day of Vlogmas. Yes, I'm back. Just like last year, I really don't know how this is gonna go. December really crept up on me, but we're gonna go for it and we'll see what happens. I think this year's Vlogmas is going to be a continuation pretty much of last year's, similar format. I have a few things in mind, but nothing set in stone. So every day is going to be as new to me as it is to you. So let's go ahead and get started. So today I think is going to be kind of a recap, just like a regular Flosstube. I'm going to show some of the things that I've been working on. I am going to show a little bit of what you saw in the opening of the video. Those are some of my favorite things. It's a stitch that I did and then some gifts that I got from Stitchy Friends in Christmas past. I'm going to kind of update on where I'm at on one of my knitting projects, and I'm going to give an update to where I'm at on the quilt that I've been working on that I talked about last video and I think the video before that. And I'm going to show you where I'm at on a couple of whips. So we're going to kind of ease into it, but I am going to do a little demo, which will be later in the video, pertaining to the quilt. And I'm going to talk about Advent, the Advent boxes. So I don't know if you've been watching. So every year, a lot of Vlogmas or Flossmas or YouTubers, cross-stitch YouTubers, Flosstubers, they open up their Advent boxes that they have purchased. And I really would have liked to have had one of Kitten Stitcher's. I was not on the ball. I didn't get one, and I know I'm just going to be so envious of all of the people opening their Advent boxes. And if you haven't seen what was in today's, go look on Kindred Stitcher's stories on Instagram and you'll see, and it's pretty cool. It's from Blackbird Design, so I know you're going to want to see that. So kind of hold that in your mind, hold that thought, and then I'm going to talk about something that I do want to do during Vlogmas for here. That's a little bit of a different take on Advent. So kind of a hint, instead of opening up an Advent box, I'm going to put things in a box for Advent, or actually I'm going to be doing it all 25 days of Vlogmas. And at the end, somebody will win the whole kit and caboodle. So that's kind of what it's going to be, but I will explain it more. Okay, so what have I been working on? Well, I have been working on my one red thread a day, and I am doing the Blackbird Designs stockings. I am almost done with stocking number 4, which is right here. And then I have one more stocking after that. And these come from the Peppermint and Holly book. No, that's not right. Scratch that. They come from the Home from the Holidays book. I don't have it with me right now. It's in the cabinet somewhere back there. But I will try to bring it out in the next couple days so you can see which one I'm talking about. I'm doing this on a 40 count Silvery Moon by Zweigart. And I'm using a Victoria Motto floss for this called, I don't have it with me. Oh wait, yes I do, hold on. It's called, hold please, Frost and Cider. So that is, it's not focusing, there we go. Frost and Cider. So that's the one I'm using for this particular one. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish these before the end of the year. I was trying to look for another one red thread to take me through the end of the year. And I'm fairly certain I will finish on time and maybe a little bit early. And what I'm going to do with whatever days are remaining, I am behind on my hexagon star a day, which again is over there. And I'll show that tomorrow. I just don't want to get up and go get it right now. But I need to catch up on those. So I've gotten behind, maybe a couple of weeks or so behind, and I really do want to catch up. I'm about midway through, a little past midway through the year, because you do 365 or 66 stars. So I don't want to get too far behind. And my friends are keeping up, and I need to keep up with them. So we'll do that on another video. We'll update that. So these are just cruising right along. I really enjoy that. The other thing I think I mentioned last time is that I turned the stockings the correct way, or what I consider the correct way for stockings to hang. So I did do a little bit of deviation from the pattern. Okay, so I've been working on that. I do that every morning. I think I showed last video a week or so ago that I had received my kit for Jingle Ball, which is coming up this coming Friday, I believe. It's coming up this coming weekend. And my kit was from Stacy Nash. So I'm doing that. That's the front. It's a sewing book is what she calls it. So that's the front and that's the back. And I stitched on it one night, and I haven't got back to it yet, but I'm probably going to stitch on it more tonight. And this is my progress. I don't know if I'm going to finish it before Friday. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be finishing it before the class, but that's okay because I have access to the class for 30 days. It is just as adorable as it can be. This linen is beautiful. It's called something bean. Let me look. Find my glasses here. It is called, oh, I don't have it with me. It's something bean by Needle Bling Designs. And then I have the rest of the kit here to put it together. So I did put some time in on that. I think it's going to go fairly fast, but as I said, I don't know that I'm going to get done. These are the flosses. I have this on a beautiful floss ring. This I haven't shown before, but this was a birthday gift in in October from a good friend of mine. And it's this beautiful, see, the little ball opens up to a wool ball, so you can stick a needle in it, and I just love this. It's so pretty. So that was from my friend Linda. Okay, I did do one little bit of Thanksgiving stitching on Thanksgiving. I made the decision that if you've watched me for a long time, you know that I had started this stitch, this Thanksgiving stitch, this one right here. I did it last year on Thanksgiving, and I had stitched the top, but I wasn't sure about the linen. And I kind of went through this whole thing where I talked about different linens to use, and it was really about 50-50. I asked for opinion. So it's on 35 count corkscrew. And then I thought, well, maybe I needed to go a little bit darker. And I was looking at Weeks tin roof, which I think, again, will still be really pretty. But I looked at it again, I pulled out, and I decided to keep going on the 35 count Legacy linen corkscrew. And I put in the T. Now there's a little bit more of the basket and a couple leaves over here that need to go. But what kind of kept me going on this is I noticed that there are 12 squares there for Thanksgiving. And I thought, if I did 1 square a day, then except for the bottom right here, which I think I could pick up pretty easily, or not 1 square a day. If I did 1 square a month, then I could have this done by next Thanksgiving. So I sat down I spent maybe an hour, and I did the tea maybe less than an hour, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep going on this piece of linen, and I'm going to put in 1 letter a day. I made up a new stitch card for it so that I can keep track of those, and I think that's going to work. I think that's going to work out really well. So that was some stitching that I also did. So I have been spending a lot of time working on a quilt that I want to have on one of the beds in the cottage bedroom for when my family gets here for Christmas. Particularly, it's going to be the room that my granddaughter stays in. And this is the pattern. It's by the Pattern Basket. It is called Peppermint Twist. And I've been working on it, and as I mentioned, there's a bazillion half square triangles. Actually, there were 608, but I've added a few more because I decided to put an extra row in there. But today I started putting the rows together. Actually, I only got 1 row put together, and not even the entire row, but most of the row. I just have like a border on one side that I need to do. So I wanted to share that with you. This is really interesting because one of the snowflakes, the green snowflake, is actually embedded in the border. That's kind of why it's a little tricky. Not hard, just kind of fussy. But here's where I'm at. I have, like I said, almost the first entire row. And I have 3, I'm sorry, I can't see what you're seeing, so I hope you're seeing all of it. I have 3 different reds that I'm using, and then it's the same green throughout. So you can see this one, I still need the other side of the border. So I think tomorrow I'll probably get maybe at least 1 more row done, maybe 2. But I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel that I know I can get at least 1 row a day done and still, get other things done in the day. So it's not taking up too much time. So as long as I can get it put together and get it on the quilting frame at least a week before they come here. So I've got 3 or 4 weeks, not quite 4 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm not concerned about getting it done. It's going to be cold. It's really cold here. So the nights have been in the 20s and the days have been it's usually the high 30s, low 40s. I mean like 40, 41. So it's pretty darn cold. I've not quilted in that kind of weather. I'm fairly certain my machine will be just fine, but I do plan on getting that done and getting it on the bed. So those are the things that I've been working on in the week since I did my last video. And then today I'm just going to spend a little bit of time showing you the things that were in the opening credits or the opening scene and talk about those. So one of them is this stitch. Is this called Merry Christmas? I'm sorry, I was not quite as prepared as I wanted to be. This is a Blackbird Designs. This is one of the 4 Christmas stitches. And I stitched this 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. And I decided to put the initials of my great grandmother and actually the year she died, not the year she was born, which was 1915. And this is done on weeks gray, I believe, using the Call for Colors. And then I have it in this antique swing frame. Hanging off the swing frame, this was a gift from the lovely Sally at Humble Bumble Stitches. She sent me a box last year, and this was in the box, and I just love it. It's one of my favorite things. I'm going to be showing you a lot of favorite things throughout Vlogmas, but that is one of them. And I was just so grateful that she blessed me with the pretty things, and I'll show more of what she sent me. It's also, you can see it in last year's Vlogmas. The next thing I have in that little vignette is a pin cushion that was gifted to me from my friend Linda, aka Van Mom, on Instagram. And we did a scrap up. Gosh, it's probably been 3 years now. And this was part of the package that she had set out for me and the other people at the scrap up. And if you go back through my Instagram, I think it was 3 years ago, you'll see a lot of pictures of not only what Linda gifted us with, but what we made. And it was a really fun day. I haven't done a scrap up with Linda. We were trying to get together with our friend Katie and Barb when Barb was here this summer, but it just didn't happen, unfortunately. So also part of the vignette is this beautiful cross-stitched sled that my friend Sue gifted me last year. This is part of a basket of goodies that she gifted me, and I love this. So some of these are going to go on the trees. As you can tell, I really haven't started decorating. In fact, I don't know if you can see or not, but there's a lot of fall stuff that's still up, and that's on my list of things to do. We're going to do that together. Just like last year, it's going to be slow. It's going to be a little bit every day, but I will share more of that with you this year. And this year it's definitely going to include decorating the bedrooms, because I will have a full house this year, and I definitely want to deck them out, deck the halls. Also gifted to me by one of you lovely viewers, and I am so sorry, I can't remember your name. I could go back and look through my last Flosstube, but I had shown and mentioned that I collect and I love Mercury glass balls, and she sent me this wonderful package that included this trio of Mercury glass balls. So I have these all together in a little vignette. Okay, so let's get back to the Giving Advent. I don't know what else to call it. Well, we're going to call it an Advent box, but it's a box that I'm going to give away at the end of Vlogmas. So it's going to be a little bit different. There's going to be a twist to it. I'm going to use a process that my friend Teresa Kogut used on one of her Vlogmases a couple of years ago. And every day that I do a Vlogmas, I'm going to try really hard to do something every day. I'm going to give you a word of the day, and I want you to keep track of those words. Do not put it in the comments below. Do not put it in the comments below, but write it down. So go ahead, pause the video, go grab a piece of paper that you can keep by your stitchy chair when you watch videos, and I'm going to give you the word of the day. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to flash it on the screen sometime throughout the video, and you need to watch for it. And when at the end of all of this, I'm going to try to put something in the box every day. It might be something big, it might be something small, but at the end there's going to be a whole bunch of goodies, and they're going in a box, and they're going to get shipped off to one of you. So very important that you are a public subscriber, that you like the video. When we get to the very end, I'm going to ask you to email me the list of the words, and then what I will do is I will pick a winner from the list according, that they have to meet all of the other requirements, that you're over 18, that you've liked the videos, that you commented on all of the videos, and that you're a subscriber. So you're going to have to work a little bit for this. The first thing that I'm going to put in the box, so the box is probably going to have some quilty stuff, it's going to have some stitchy stuff, it's going to have some goodies that I've made, it's going to have all sorts of things. I have ideas, but the first thing that's going to go in the box is this pattern. So watch for throughout the rest of this video, there's a little bit more coming, and write that word down, and then keep track of that list of words, because it's going to be really important later to send in and then have you entered in that giveaway. Okay, so back to the quilt. So I had a lot of questions about the process that I was using to make these half square triangles. Lots of questions, lots of comments. A couple people I know even already went and ordered the CD that has the papers on it. So while I was working on the quilt today, I did shoot a little demo video about how the papers work, and I'm going to include that in a clip here. And then I will see you tomorrow. So again, watch for the word of the day. And if you have questions about how that's going to work, feel free to email me. My email will be in the description down below, along with all of my other information for my Instagram and my Facebook. Real quick before I forget, I just like to remind people, my Instagram is private. That's to keep the bots and the trolls away, but please request. And if I see that you are associated with other accounts that watch quilting and Flosstube and blah, 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 I'm going to accept that. If I see a request where there's nobody else I know that's associated with that account, I probably won't accept the request. But I also have a Facebook group, which is my business, which is McCleary, Mercantile, and Quilting. You can feel free to subscribe to that as well. And of course, please consider subscribing to my channel so that you will get notifications when all of these Vlogmas videos pop up. And please set your bell to all. And I will see you all soon, but stay tuned. So first I'm going to show you a quick run through. I talked about the triangulations. This is my new version of it. The version I purchased, oh gosh, literally 25 years ago, only had half square triangles. And as you can see, this has several more different papers that you can print out. The great thing about this is that you can print only the amount of papers that you need. They are printed on 8.5 by 11. I needed 2-inch finished, and right on each one of those it shows you the size of the fabric that you need to cut out to put on there and what the finished size is. So I print them out on a newspaper weight. You could print it out on regular copy paper, but newspaper weight is a little bit easier to work with, and that's fairly inexpensive. You can buy that on Amazon. And then what I do is I trim them down a little bit. I usually leave about 1/8 of an inch on every side so that I can pin it onto my fabric. Okay, so I have cut my fabric, both the light color and the dark color fabric for the half square triangles. I've cut them the width of fabric about the same width as the trimmed part of my triangulation papers. Now, remember, I've left a margin of about 1/8 of an inch on either side. I've ironed this nice and flat. These were starched before I ironed them. And I'm going to put my dark color on the bottom, right side up, and I'm going to put my white or my light color. This has no side, so, but if it did, you would want to put right sides together. And I'm just laying this on here. I'm going to line it up on one of the edges because it's a little bit bigger. And I'm going to lay this down, and then I'm going to lay these down. I can do several at once because I've done a width of fabric. And I'm just going to put it here, and then I'm going to pin. So I've lined these top edges up, and I'm going to pin, and I'm going to pin in a way that I'm not going to run into or have to take the pins out if I don't want to when I'm sewing. So just right here, just one on every corner is sufficient. And I'm doing this without looking at what you're seeing, so I hope that this comes out okay. So I've pinned these all the way across. I have 4 of them. 2 will make 1 big star, and I need 2 stars of this fabric. And now I'm just going to rough cut these apart. Normally I do everything with my rotary cutter, but I don't want to have to try to maneuver around the pins since I've already pinned them. You could, of course, cut these apart into sections before you pinned as well, whatever works best for you. All right, let me show you how fast and easy these sew up. I'm going to put my needle down and I'm just gonna sew. I'm gonna start here at the top and I'm just gonna follow the dotted line. I do have my stitch length set at 2. I probably would not go above 2. Kind of depends on your machine. I'm just gonna stop and pivot here and just follow the arrows. It's very, very easy. And you can do the whole sheet rather quickly. I'm just going to pivot here again. Depending on the size, of course, it's going to change a little bit. But this one will do 12 at a time. I use a 50 weight thread. I prefer the thread called, it's by Superior Threads, and it's a long Egyptian cotton. And you know what? I can't remember the name. Let me look real quick. It's called Masterpiece. And I sew with about 4 different colors. This one is not a white. It's kind of a linen color, I would call it. I don't remember. It's called Bisque. So if you like that. They sold a neutral pack years ago for small ones. I used the big cones, but once I had gone through the regular sized spools, I went and bought the big cones because I use them a lot. And I use this for almost all of my piecing, and I also use it for garment construction. It kind of depends on the garment. For most garments, this is great. And the nice thing is it's a fine thread. It's very strong. Orifil is a good one as well. A lot of people swear by it. This is just one I've used. I've used Orifil too, and I think it's a wonderful thread. This is just one that I've used for years and I really like. So almost done. You just keep following the line and pivoting where it shows. And almost there. Keep going until there are no more dotted lines, just so you don't ever have to remove the sheet while you're sewing this. You just keep going and almost there. Voila, it's done. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you cut these apart. I'm going to take my pins out. There's nothing going to shift. It's all sewn down. And I'm going to take my ruler and my rotary cutter. You notice that I don't have the lined part up. A lot of people don't realize sometimes it's a lot easier to use the side that is plain because you're not distracted by the lines, particularly if you're using the method where you use 2 rulers to cut. The rulers are generally more accurate than trying to cut on the lines of the mat. But anyway, so I'm going to line this up, and I am paying very close attention. I'm going to be very precise. And there we go. Let me get that one. So I'm going to do the edges first. And again, I'm going to take my time and make sure that I am right on the edge of that line, because this is what makes your half square triangle precise. And then so those are the ones you want to be very precise on. These are a little bit more forgiving because where you're going to cut here, and I hope I'm still in frame because I can't see what I'm doing. Those are the actual half square triangle. So these are not the edges that are going to make a difference. And so here is one of them, and you can see it's very perfect. Now I'm going to cut those dog ears off later, but I'm going to cut these apart first. Usually what I do is I make the long cut first, and then I cut these apart. And you cut on the solid line. And it goes just this quick. I think I said in my Instagram post, I estimate that this is cut down the process by about half. It could be more, could be less, kind of depends on what the process is that you use and how comfortable you are with learning the new process. It's super easy. It's not good if you're making a scrappy quilt. I mean, this is kind of a scrappy quilt, but it's a controlled scrappy, meaning I have like 4 different fabrics that I'm using for the stars. So there are different stars, but if you're doing a really scrappy quilt where you're making, you know, a lot of half square triangles that are of different fabrics, it's not really going to work that well for you. But for doing a large number of half square triangles, I think it was 608, but I'm going to have to add to this number because I decided to make the quilt build bigger. But okay, so I'm going to take you real quick over here back to the iron. Before I remove anything or before I take the papers off, I am going to press these open. Now the reason that you want your white on the top is it makes it easier to press them open. Let's go ahead and do that. And leaving the papers on stabilizes the, my iron's not quite hot, stabilizes your half square triangle because that's all in the bias. And so it's not going to shift, it's not going to pull, it's not going to stretch. And you can open these and press them rather quickly. So I just want to press a few and show you how that works. And then this is when I go ahead and cut off my dog ear. So it even has a line for you to cut them. And then it's as easy because you've pressed and you've sewn. I just do this. And I put my thumb here, my thumbnail, and I go like that. And that just puts right off. And there we go. That is a perfect 2-inch finish. It will be 2-inch finish. Right now it's 2.5 inch because you're going to have a 1/4 inch margin all around. But 2-inch finish, half square triangle. I am not going to have to trim that at all. Trim that up to square it up. It's perfectly square. So that's how this process works. I was just getting ready to sit down and start editing the video, and I realized I hadn't talked about my knitting project. So I've showed this a lot, but I haven't showed it recently, but I'm really close to getting ready to start seaming this together and putting the cowl on. So this is called the fold over poncho. What's going to happen is once I get the correct length, it's going to fold over like this, and I will seam, take this and seam the shoulder, and then I will put a cowl on it. And I believe I have to have 50 inches, and I'm like 2 or 3 inches shy of doing that. So this is being done in, let's see, did I have it with me? Yes. So this is being done in a juniper moon called Moonshine, and it is a, should say, oh, here it is. It's a 40% wool, 40% alpaca, and 20% silk. It is yummy, luscious, squishy, soft, not itchy at all. I'm super excited. I wanted to get this done like in September and just things got in the way. But I still should be able to get it done and wear it this winter. So I'm really looking forward to that. So it's December 1st. I used to do an update either on the last day of the month or the first day of the month to show where I was at. And I am hoping to close in on a finish on that this year.